Welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast. I'm Tamiko Pugh, also known as the Empowering Diva. Each week, you'll hear inspirational interviews as well as actionable tips and strategies that you can implement into your daily life to help you live a life of passion, purpose, and potential. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now let's jump into today's episode of Living the Empowered Life. Are you the go-to person in your group of friends? Do you have a zest for life and enjoy helping others reach their full potential? Do you feel a calling to make a difference in the world? If this is you, then you may want to consider becoming a life coach. We have a virtual online training starting soon. Our life coach training focuses on helping women who desire to motivate, inspire, and empower other women by using their skills, expertise, and experience to thrive as a personal development coach. Using the empowerment formula, participants will learn step-by-step tools, tips, and techniques needed to attract great clients and build a thriving, purposeful, and profitable coaching business. Get all the details and register at www.tamikolori.com/life coach training. Welcome to another episode of Living the Empowered Life podcast. I'm your host, Tamiko Pugh, also known as the Empowering Diva. In today's episode, I'll be talking with advertising executive, manifestation coach, charter guest on Below Deck Mediterranean, Crystal Foote. Crystal is guided by the power of manifestation towards a life of growth and success. She is a seasoned and award-winning advertising executive, entrepreneur, manifestation coach, wife, and mom who holds a passion and desire to make a positive impact on the world. This hunger to help foster spiritual connections has led her to host vision board events for various organizations to guide individuals on their journey to turn their dreams into realities. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this amazing conversation with Crystal Foote. Crystal, welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm so excited for us to dive into this conversation. You have so many amazing things going on and really want the Living the Empowered Life community to get to know you a little bit. I want to get to know you. Let's go ahead and dive into our conversation, Crystal. Honestly, I really wanted to talk to you about all the facets of entrepreneurship that you have going on. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and the different forms of entrepreneurship that you're involved in.
Yeah, so I have my business, shopcrystalsbycrystal.com, and that really gives people the tools they need and the different resources, also manifestation sessions they can use so that way they can really create the life they desire. So I have that, and that takes up a lot of time, as you know, as an entrepreneur yourself. And it's just really helping people really understand that at the end of the day, I'm in control of my life. And if I want to, let's say, achieve this goal, I need to start within myself to do that.
I love that. Helping people to understand that I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of my life. I love that as an affirmation. You know what I mean? And so
Yes.
Even when you're talking about your, manifestations, one of the things that I like to do in the mornings is what I call mirror work. And I have my coaching clients do this as well, depending on what it is that I'm coaching them in, but really just looking yourself in the mirror and affirming positive affirmations over yourself. I love to do that. It makes me feel so much better and it allows me to have a great day because I've already spoke those positive affirmations over myself.
Oh, most definitely. I am a true believer of affirmations. I do affirmations every morning before I even get up out of bed, before I check my phone, before I do anything, I say my affirmations. And it's interesting. My childbirthing experience was so amazing because of the affirmations that I did beforehand and during too. To the point where after I delivered my daughter, I told my husband, I was like, oh, I wish I had triplets because this was such an amazing experience. And he was like, are you okay? But honestly, I said from the beginning, I said I wanted to have a beautiful birth and a painless birth. And I had all of that.
Wow, that's amazing. I don't know how many people I've spoke to that said, they had an amazing birth. I mean, birth is amazing, but when you think about the pain and all that stuff, that's awesome. What type of affirmations were you doing, girl?
I was just saying that it was going to be easy and it was going to be beautiful and I wasn't going to be in any pain. I'm just saying all positive things so I can really, embrace myself going through this new transition phase in my life. And then also, so I wouldn't be scared because a lot can come with childbirthing, as you know. And I just don't want to be scared. And I didn't want to manifest pain in my life. I wanted to manifest just joy and just calmness.
Yes, yes. I love that joy and calmness. And so it all makes sense why you're a manifestation coach. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what do you do as a manifestation coach and who would be your ideal client?
Yeah. So my ideal client is really anyone and everyone, even skeptics. So, we all have desires as human beings, whether they're personal or professional. And so I assist people with understanding that they too can create the life they want. Because at the end of the day, we're all co-creators, right? And we have to believe that God is within us, to think positive, right? And to say that, again, we're in control of our lives. So we are the ones, if we want something to achieve something, we have to start within ourselves first. And then that way it will project out and we will accomplish that goal.
I totally believe that. And so you said you will coach anyone and everyone, including the skeptics. What do you
Yes.
say to people who are skeptical? I often meet people who really don't believe in affirmations or manifestation and things of that nature. They don't believe in being able to speak things into existence. And to me, I look at it as a lack of faith. But how do you handle skeptics?
Yeah, so I typically start off with something small for them because since they are skeptics, right, they can't see a bigger picture for themselves because they don't have the faith, to your point. And so I start with something small, and a lot of times, for some reason, skeptics like to pick ice cream. So getting free ice cream is like their thing. So they're like, well, if I can manifest free ice cream, and I'm telling you, like multiple people have told me this, and they manifest it into their lives and they are stunned. They're like, oh my gosh, you won't believe this. And I'm like, no, I do believe it because I told you to do it. So I'm happy for you. But yeah, I just, we start with something small. And then once they manifest that, then they get into the routine. But for them, it's just something that happens and it brings hope to them. And they just need to have that glimmer of hope for them to continue doing that throughout their life.
Right. I remember some years ago when the book and the DVD or the CD, The Secret, came out. Remember that was extremely popular back like in the early 2000s. And I remember listening to that. I would listen to it at work. And I remember them saying to start off small with like a parking space. And so I would think all the time, like, oh, I'm going to get an up close parking space. I'm going to get a parking space. You know what I mean? So when I think about manifestation, affirmation, law of attraction, I always think back to The Secret when that came out. And I think it changed lives for a lot of people.
It has. And some of my favorite authors go back way before The Secret. So this morning, listening to Neville Goddard, and I really enjoy listening to, you can have, like, there's YouTube versions of his Audible, but also if you have audiobooks as well on Audible, you can listen to those from different narrators. But it's really powerful and it's strong. And what I do love about, just the whole manifestation and the teachings of Neville Goddard, it's from a person who is, normal, really, just day-to-day person, and anyone can do it. You don't have to be a preacher or a witch or anything like that to manifest things into your life.
Right. I think some people, when you think about manifestation, some people kind of think of it as something being, kind of being spooky. I've never really looked at it like that. Again, I just go back to the Bible, right? Faith without works is dead too. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention. We can do affirmations, but we also have to put in the work. We also, have to put in those action steps that go along with those affirmations. Because the Bible does say, faith without works is dead.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So living the empowered life, one of the principles of living the empowered life is to feel the fear and do it scared. And so mostly everything that I've done in life, I've probably, especially big things, I've probably done it scared. Writing my book, launching several businesses, there was always a fear behind it, but I did it anyway. And I often tell my clients, feel the fear and do it scared. So how do you think fear can get in the way of us being able to manifest growth and success in our lives?
Yeah, so I think when people say that they are fearful of doing something, it's more so of a safety net and they're using excuses. So I'm afraid to do this, I'm afraid to do that. And they're always saying, what if something bad happens, right? So whether that's heartbreak or failure, the list goes on, but they're using fear as a safety net. So they turn their words around and say, what if something amazing happens? What if I am blessed with XYZ? Then fear is no longer a factor in someone's life. Fear is not used as a safety net moving forward or as a safety blanket. So they're going to do things because now they are more passionate about, you know what, I want to get that. And the excitement of that passion will help you manifest your desires.
I totally agree with that. I agree. And you said that fear is like a safety net, and it really is because it allows us to feel safe. We can't get hurt. We can't fail.
Right.
We don't have to worry about those negative things. But what if we turned it around, like you said? And what if this amazing thing happened? What if everything worked in my favor? What if everything good happened to me? And so that's what I love about, affirmations and manifestation and just being able to replace that fear with something positive, because at the end of the day, the fear is not even real, right? We make it up pretty much.
Right. I totally agree. And it also has to do with a lot like, a person's self-esteem and their confidence about doing something, right? So really blocking out the naysayers, blocking out people that will look at them and possibly, frown or whatever the case is, something negative, of course, blocking everything out and just doing it because you want to do it, living your life because this is a life that you should be living for yourself.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with that. And so you and your husband recently had the opportunity to serve as cast members on the hit show Below Deck Mediterranean, which is on Bravo. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience on that show?
Yes. So my husband and I, yes, we were guests on Below Deck Mediterranean, and it started back in 2018. My husband and I, we created vision boards, and I put a yacht on there, and my husband put a yacht on there, and we're very passionate about traveling and experiencing new things. So we looked at the vision board at the end, and I was like, oh, babe, you have a yacht on yours. And he was like, and you have a yacht on yours. I was like, boom, it's going to happen. Wow. So in 2019, we got an email from the casting director because my client shared my information to the casting director without me even knowing. And they wanted to interview us to be on the show. So my husband and I were brainstorming, like, who should we pick? And he picked his friends from back when he was like in first grade. He's always, had a very strong relationship with them, whether it's business, personal, they're beautiful people. And then I brought along my two friends. And so we went on there and had an amazing time. It was just phenomenal, to the point where at the end I cried because I didn't want to leave. It was just so good. I wanted my daughter to fly out to be with us and we can do it all over again. But it was amazing to really see our manifestations happen and see people because I watched the show before. So seeing them in person, whereas before seeing them on TV, it was just incredible.
It seemed like it was an incredible experience. It looked amazing.
Yes, you have to do it next.
We'll see about that. All right, I'm going to manifest it. I'm going to put that in the atmosphere. I'm next up for the yacht, all right?
Yes.
I got next. Well, that sounds like an amazing experience, especially the fact that you all both put yacht on your vision board. Like, how amazing is that? How much of a divine connection can that be that you all both put a yacht on your vision board? So I think that probably made it even more powerful.
Oh, most definitely. And, sometimes you have thoughts about what you want to do for the future, and your husband or your boyfriend, says the same things, like, oh my gosh, like, we are really connecting. and really becoming one, right? So that's the beautiful thing about, my husband and I relationship, that whatever, I put on the vision board, he's always aligned. And we do this as a family. I do this for different organizations as well, but it's so important to start in your household first to make sure that your future goals are aligned and you guys want the same thing.
Absolutely. And that is so important. We do something similar the beginning of each year. We do our goals and what are the things that we desire for the year individually and then collectively together. And I think it's so important that couples actually come together and make sure that your vision and your values kind of match so that things can manifest the way that they should.
Right, exactly. And it's so much powerful when it's two people manifesting the same thing, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I'm one of those people, I try to take a lesson from every single thing that I do in life, whether it's good or bad. And so being on TV, being on Bravo, what are some of the lessons that you learned from being on the show?
Yeah, I think the main lesson was that kindness goes a long way, because when we came on the yacht, there were 4 other chartered guests before us. And we don't know what happened, like the drama, until we actually saw the show. And so to see that the crew was really struggling and that both, like 2 main crew members were fired essentially from the show after our charter, like immediately after, it broke our hearts. We had no idea. And the food that we were served, it wasn't on par to what you would think of like yacht food, because I made a comment on the show that it reminded me of a kid's birthday party, and just jokingly, right? Just to add some humor, because it got really intense in that moment. That chef, I think he just was overwhelmed and being micromanaged from his, feedback to us, that he just was messing up the food and he got fired, but he was so sad. And then Hannah on the show, she had a panic attack because of everything that was going on, and she was overwhelmed. So if we weren't nice to the crew and we were, jerks to them, it could have been a lot worse, right? The interactions, the crew, working with each other, it could have been horrible based on how we reacted to certain scenarios. So again, just kindness goes a long way. We ate the food, we smiled, we said, even though it wasn't what we were expecting, it was okay. And I think because we were more mild temper and we were nice, that, the crew really appreciated that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Kindness goes a long way, and I often say, be kind to everyone, because you never know what someone could be going through. You don't know what they're experiencing. And sometimes we, have a tendency to be judgmental. And I've been there. I've done it before and had to step back and say, you know what, Tamiko, you don't know what that person was going through today. So really just, making an effort and being intentional about being kind to people.
Exactly. It's funny. So I'm doing this detox right now, and I'm drinking my yogi tea.
Ooh, and I love yogi tea.
I love me too. And they have like amazing little quotes on the back of their
tabs. That's why I like them.
And the quote that I'm reading right now, it says, kindness is a light of life.
I love that. Kindness.
Look at that.
Is a light of life. It really is too. I love the yogi tea. Just real quick, I mentioned when we were having a conversation offline, I have a nonprofit organization where we focus on domestic violence awareness, advocacy, and prevention. And oftentimes we'll do like a brunch for our survivors, or do something with the survivors. And so one time what we did is we had a tea, and we chose yogi tea because we knew that everyone would get a quote or an affirmation. And what we would do is have each one of the survivors come up front and read their quote or affirmation and talk about how it actually resonated with them. And it was so amazing how out of all 15 of those women, every single one of them got a quote or an affirmation that meant something to them at that moment. Like it really spoke to their spirit at that moment. And so
that's amazing.
I don't know, yogi is on to something.
That is beautiful. That is amazing. I also want to know how I can help with your nonprofit organization as well. So we'll talk offline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you so much. And one of the things, we talked about being able to learn lessons and things of that nature. So here's a lesson here. Like, as an award-winning advertising executive, you're an entrepreneur, manifestation coach, you're a wife, you're a mom. Like, what lessons have you learned as it relates to like trying to find balance in your life? Because it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be. It really can be. And for me, I think I figured it out, but what works for me is to schedule everything. Because if I don't schedule things, then it can be very chaotic and it can take away from me time, right? I even schedule me time at a certain block. You know, I tell my husband, hey, I'm going to need your help with, you know, watching our daughter because I need to just have a few minutes or half an hour of me time where I can reflect, where I can meditate and pray. And he's amazing and super supportive. So, you know, he helps me out with that. But it's so important. And they, you know, the saying goes, happy wife, happy life. That is so true because we are the heartbeat of our family, right? We keep it together. We are the glue. And so I need to have my own space where I can think, and I have such a creative mind. So I just need to sometimes step away, whether that's in my car, whether that's in my backyard. But it's so important. So scheduling everything because things will pop up, right? Spontaneity is life. So things will pop up. But the fact that I can say, you know what, let me push this back a little bit, but I already had it scheduled so I can have time for this new thing. It just makes my life so much easier.
Yeah, having a schedule keeps everything organized, especially, you know, we're busy women, right? We're running businesses, nonprofit organizations, we're wives. And so things can get hectic. But you know what, Crystal, one of the things that I learned how to do last year was say no. One of the things I learned was it's okay to say no. I would overwhelm myself and say yes to everybody. Oh, I don't want this person to be upset with me, so I'm just going to do it. And my blood pressure got so high. I was so stressed out because I was being everything to everyone and nothing to myself. And so being, you know, going to the hospital with my blood pressure up high, it really taught me a lesson to me time, like you said, and also that it's okay to say no. Unapologetically without giving an answer. And so that was probably one of the best things that I ever did. And not in a mean way, like, you know, no, unfortunately, I won't be able to do that.
and that's okay. And that's amazing that, you know, that's powerful. Warren Buffett said one of the keys of being successful is to say no. And I can't do it, right? Yes. So, no, I'm not available. No, I can't do that right now. And, you know, you have to focus on yourself because your health is key to survival, right? If you are giving yourself so much to everything and everyone, then what are you going to have left of yourself? You know, you're going to be worn out. You're going to be tired. You're going to, you know, have high blood pressure. You might get a disease as well through the process. So it is so important to say no. I agree with that.
Yeah. And that's part of living an empowered life. You know, that's what this podcast is, you know, living an empowered life. What is it like? What are some of the things that you do to living an empowered life? And for you, it's your me time. For you, it's manifesting things into your life. And so what does it mean to you to really live an empowered life?
To me, to live an empowered life means that I'm happy, that I can be my authentic self, and I have abundant possibilities.
Happy, being your authentic self. I love that. And abundant possibilities. I'm actually writing this down because that's how powerful it is. And it's interesting that you said being your authentic self, because the sixth step or the sixth principle to living an empowered life is to walk in your authentic power, to be authentically you, to be who God created you to be, nothing more, nothing less, because he created each and every one of us to be unique, to be different, to be amazing. Right. You know what I mean? And so when you said that thing about authenticity, I'm like, she's on to something, because that's the sixth step of living an empowered life, is to walk in your authentic power. And when you do that, I think, you know, you just become this powerful person. It allows you to be so much more successful.
Right. Because you don't have to fake. And when you're faking it, it's kind of hard to keep up with the lie, right? Because who are you with this person versus that person? It's just exhausting. And so being your authentic self, it feels so good to the soul, because you don't have to worry about, oh, how many hats do I have to wear? Disguises do I have to wear? Things like that with different people. People know who you are in different groups. You're going to be the same person. And that makes me happy that you know me authentically through and through.
Absolutely. You said through and through. I love that. I remember, I just have a quick story when I first started speaking and coaching and being on stage. I mean, I speak proper anyways, proper English, but I would speak extra, extra proper. And I would have on my little pantsuit with my hair put back in a bun, just as proper and cute as I can be, because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. You know, oh, I'm a speaker now. I'm on stage. I have to be very well put together. But I like bright colors. Like, I like to wear my hair natural. I like hot pink lipstick, red lipstick. And so.
And you look fabulous, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But it was like, once I embraced that about myself, people started to be more attracted to what it was that I was doing because I was authentic. They didn't like the girl that walked around with her hair pulled back with dark blue pantsuit on. So yes,
right.
Authenticity that's what we have to do. And that's what we need to push more of.
That's right. And, you know, for me, I like to read a lot of books in my downtime or listen because Audible is my best friend, especially now that I'm a mom and I have a very busy schedule. But The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker is life-changing. And that's how I started on this journey of manifestation and living more of an empowered life, listening to this book. It, you know, includes Bible verses, but it really focuses on who you are and saying that, you know what, today your life is going to change. No more are you going to make excuses for why you're not doing something. No more are you going to make excuses why you're not achieving your goals in life. Today it changes. And it's incredible. It's an easy read, and I highly recommend that to anyone.
I just wrote it down, The Power of Decisions. All right. So I'll be getting that on Audible. You said something, you said today it changes. Like, it was just something about that was very powerful. Today it changes. So I'll definitely get that book and we can have a discussion about it.
Sounds good.
So before I close out, I mean, we've talked about a lot, everything from manifesting to setting goals and being balanced. You know, we talked about you being on a Bravo TV show and your lessons learned, what it is to live an empowered life. We've definitely touched on a lot here. But before we go, I really want to make sure that you had an opportunity to share from your heart. So if you have a final thought or a charge for the audience, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I want to let your audience know that honestly, if they are really serious about creating the life they desire, it really is absolutely free to manifest. It costs nothing. A lot of resources that I started doing was from YouTube, Pinterest, even Instagram with affirmations. And it just starts with you saying, you know what, I'm going to start today, and not pushing it off, say, oh, another time, or being negative about it. But it's absolutely free. It costs you nothing. So what do you have to lose to live the best life possible?
I love that. You heard it here first. It costs nothing to manifest. Start today. Thank you so much, Crystal. I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Thank you, Tamiko. I really appreciate this platform to talk to everyone, and you're amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Living the Empowered Life podcast. I hope that you enjoyed my conversation with my inspiring guest, Crystal Foote, and that you were able to draw some inspiration as you continue your journey of living an empowered life. And remember, if you have a positive frame of mind, you can manifest positive things in your life. What if you can make a difference in the world using your expertise, your experience, and your story? When you write a self-help book, you have the power to help other people address their most pressing personal and professional issues while also finding your success as an author. If you're a survivor of life's adversities, if you have an expertise or experience that can make a profound impact on the world, then I invite you to register for my free training, How to Write a Self-Help Book in 30 Days. In this free training, you'll learn the 5 keys to writing a successful self-help book, how to craft an outline, how to create a writing schedule, and actually stick to it. You'll also learn how to brainstorm book ideas using your personal story, your expertise, and your life experiences. This training is free, but you must register at tinyurl.com/author training. So ladies, listen. It's time to discover and live your life purpose. It's time to value yourself. It's time to set goals that are going to move you forward in life. It's time to rebuild your confidence. It's time to fearlessly walk in your authentic power. And ladies, it's time to live the empowered life.